All right, let's use some sum and difference formulas to find the sine and cosine of some angles that we've not been able to find up until now. So, for example, maybe I want to find the sine of 105 degrees. So far we don't know how to do that. That's not one of our special angles. But these formulas will allow us to find the sine of 105 degrees. All right, so notice what our sine formula says. It says the sine of an angle plus another angle. So right now we'll just talk about the plus up here. So u plus v. So if I have the sine of an angle plus another angle, then that's going to be equal to the sine of u times the cosine of v plus cosine of u times the sine of v. So it's really very simple. All you have to do is plug in the blanks. The hard part is being able to turn this 105 degrees into something that looks like this. So I need to turn the sine of 105 degrees into the sine of one angle plus another angle. And the two angles that I choose need to be the ones that I know how to find the sine and cosine of. So, for example, I can rewrite the sine of 105 degrees as the sine of 60 degrees plus 45 degrees. So 60 plus 45 is 105, I think. Yeah. And I know how to find the sine and cosine of 60 degrees and 45 degrees. So all I have to do then is fill in the blanks. So 60 degrees is my u, 45 degrees is my v. So I have the sine of 60 times the cosine of 45. So the sine of 60 degrees times the cosine of 45 degrees. Cosine. And this is plus, so I'm going to use plus. Cosine of 60 degrees times the sine 45 degrees. So really very easy. All right, then the sine of 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Cosine of 45 degrees is the square root of 2 over 2. Cosine of 60 degrees then would be 1/2. Sine of 45 degrees would be the square root of 2 over 2. Then all I have to do is multiply this stuff out. Let me move this down out of the way, or we'll erase. Remember the one I was going to do. All right, multiply these. Square root of 3 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 6. 2 times 2 is 4. That'll be the square root of 2 on the top, 4 on the bottom. Common denominator we already have, so I would have the square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 all over 4. And if you wanted an approximate value for this, you could type this mess into your calculator and it would give you an approximate decimal. All right, let's try another one. Let's do cosine of negative pi over 12. Okay, so one thing you could do if you would rather work in degrees is change negative pi over 12 into degrees and then work from there. Maybe that's easier. But let's go ahead and do it with radians. So I can rewrite this as the cosine of pi over 6 minus pi over 4. Pi over 6 minus pi over 4 is negative pi over 12. Let's just check that and make sure I did my arithmetic right. So if I've got pi over 6 minus pi over 4, I need a common denominator of 12. So this will be 2 pi over 12. It's pi over 6 minus 3 pi over 12. 3 over 12, that's 1/4. 2 minus 3 is negative 1, so I get negative pi over 12. So I did my arithmetic right. All right, now we can just use our cosine formula. Okay, the cosine formula is kind of tricky. So up here, if we use plus, and we use plus, if you had a minus, you would use the minus. But for cosine, it's backwards. If you use the plus, notice this weird symbol here, the minus is on the top. So if you use plus, you're going to use minus over here. If you use the minus, you'll use the plus over here. All right, so in this case, we're using minus. So we'll be using the plus right here. All right, so I have the cosine of pi over 6 times the cosine of pi over 4 plus, because I'm using minus, so the minus goes with the plus, so this will be plus the cosine of, nope, sorry, that's not right, got to read, the sine of pi over 6 times the sine pi over 4. Now I know how to do all that. Cosine of pi over 6 is square root of 3 over 2. Cosine of pi over 4 is the square root of 2 over 2. Plus the sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. Sine of pi over 4 is the square root of 2 over 2. Multiply this out, and I get the square root of 6 over 4 plus square root of 2 over 4. Work that out, and I get the square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 all over 4. And just by sheer coincidence, I get the same answer that I got on the last question. I didn't mean for that to happen, but it did. All right, so that's it for that example.